Hi, Rob. Are you recording?
Not yet.
Okay.
Just getting everything set up. I'll start recording right now. Why not?
Recording in progress.
All right, enter. Okay. Now let's screen share with you. And then let's make sure our videos are off and our audios so we can make sure we sort of streamline the bandwidth. I know it sounds techie, but and here we go. I don't know, do we have enough people in yet? I haven't really looked. Yeah, it looks like we do.
Yeah, 25.
Okay.
There are certain pictures that take 2 or 3 decades to really see the work. And that's what exactly happened with the Red Studio. In a way, Matisse's studio was his world, and for so many artists, their studio is their world. So when his idea was, how do I paint the world, it really became, I'm going to paint my world. That's where I can say everything.
I really like that. That's why I chose this video. I started looking at videos and I like the opening sentence right there. Because really, that is the essence of modernism. Right there. It's the one you know everything about. It's your world. You know, before modernism, it wasn't about your world at all. You were always painting the world you thought other people saw. It's weird. It's a very different perspective. So,
Yeah.
So that's really in essence that's the difference between modern thinking and classical thinking. And so, and both are right. It's just that there's a struggle there all the time. Okay. Here we go.
In 1906, this Moscow textile magnate, Sergei Shukin, who was a big fan of modern art, met Matisse and became an absolutely essential part of Matisse's career. At the very end of 1910, Shukin asked Matisse to paint a trio of paintings on any subject Matisse wanted. The first thing he makes is the Pink Studio, which is a pretty naturalistic portrayal of his studio in the Parisian suburb of Issy-les-Moulineaux. So even though colors are very unrealistic, you can see the wood paneling on the wall, you can see a window with a view outside of it, and what's left, what's right, and so forth. The Red Studio actually began as a studio picture that was closer in its palette to the Pink Studio. After living with that a little bit, Matisse made the very bold decision that he was going to take one color, Venetian red, and coat the whole surface of the painting with it. And so what he ended up with was a painting that was more than 2/3 red at a point when the monochrome had not yet really entered the vocabulary of modern art. So at the beginning of 1912, Matisse sends Shukin a very quick watercolor sketch of it and a quite beautiful letter describing what he was trying to do with it. Shukin says, thank you. And what he did, to be polite, was say, I now prefer your paintings with figures. None of us can know exactly how he felt having this picture turned down by his trusty patron. But what he said to the journalist who came to see him in the studio is that I don't understand this picture. I don't understand exactly why I did what I did. In the summer of 1912, Roger Fry, who is a very distinguished art historian, critic, curator, and painter himself, writes to Matisse and says, I'm organizing a group show of contemporary art at a place called the Grafton Galleries in London, and I would love you to send us some great works. Matisse sends his painting to London, where it will have its premiere in October. Back then, there was an establishment of artists and of audience who still expected color to be the color that they looked at when they looked at something in the world. And artists like Matisse were saying, it's not the job of the artist to tell you what the world looks like, it's the job of the artist to create something out of his or her imagination that's brand new. 100 years ago, generally modern art, it was mocked. There was a lot of concern that these ideals of classical beauty were being ignored and being erased. That's what happened with much of the public for the Grafton Galleries show. And at the New York Times review of the show called Matisse's Sculptures Hideous. After the London show, the Red Studio crossed the Atlantic to be in the Armory show in New York City, and then Chicago, and then Boston. It was the first big extravaganza of modern art in the States. And nobody bought a single painting by Matisse in any of the three cities it was in. Instead, there was a lot of ridicule, again, a lot of anger and hostility, to the degree that at the Chicago venue of the exhibition, art students burned 3 reproductions of paintings by Matisse in effigy. So the painting comes back to Matisse's studio. By the time that the Red Studio makes its debut in Paris in 1926, circumstances for Matisse and for the culture are completely changed. All of a sudden, he wasn't really ahead of his time anymore. He was very much in sync with the flavor of the culture at that moment. So finally, the Red Studio finds a buyer. In the autumn of 1927, a British man named David Tennant is interested in a Matisse painting for a nightclub that he opened in 1925 called the Gargoyle Club. And Pritchard designed the ballroom to be an entirely mirrored space. It was a fantasy. And the Red Studio is on that wall in a nice kind of plain frame. People would be drinking and dancing and dining with the Red Studio as the only work of art in that whole big ballroom. At the beginning of World War II, David Tennant decides he wants to sell the Red Studio. He sells it to a man called George Keller, who was the head of a gallery called the New Gallery in New York City. He had bought it for himself personally, but he had it on view from time to time. And that's where quite a few MoMA curators and trustees would see it. And then at the end of 1948, he let them know, yes, I would sell this. Finally, that painting's time had come. And with the passage of time, it became a work that had an enormous amount of influence on the artists who were working in New York City in the late 1940s, 1950s. Here are these artists like Mark Roscoe or Barnett Newman or a little younger Ellsworth Kelly thinking about making paintings in which a big expanse of color that doesn't describe anything, that just is there for its own expressive purposes. At the end of his life, Matisse also came around to the Red Studio. The last finished oil painting that he made was called Large Red Interior, and it's a picture of his studio. And from that point, he goes on to just making paper cutouts, which are painted paper that he pins all over the walls of his studio in his home. And it's almost like his whole studio, his whole apartment, became a work of art. And for me, that's almost like the fulfillment of this little seed that had been planted with the Red Studio, that color becomes your environment.
And so I thought I'd just, instead of doing this whole, because we just did Matisse not too long ago, right? I mean, I know some of you weren't in the class, but let's see here now. But just a little taste of this one painting, which just goes around and kind of changes modern art in so many ways. Was an interesting take on Matisse, but really, I mean, he's quite a player when it comes into shifting the viewpoint from the artist being a servant to the artist being the what do you say, the boss. The owner of his own ideas, right? I mean, so it's weird. It's a weird shift. I mean, it's strange. But that's where style comes from. I mean, like you said, right? He didn't know what he was doing when he did that Red Studio. He didn't know. And then it turns out to be the last painting he does too. Wow. Amazing.
That's great.
You know, when your unconscious is working, you don't know. You can't predict everything that's going to slip into your brain, and you really don't know exactly how it's going to come out. So it turned out that little idea he had, that little kernel of an idea he had, was this. Turned out to be one of the most influential paintings of modern art, really. I mean, especially you know, an American art. All these Americans look up to Matisse, but countless. How many? So it's great. Yes.
He probably knew that he loved color, and
Yeah.
his intuition just took him there.
I know. And then he covers the whole thing in red. Wow, so he's doing monochromatic paintings before it was really the thing to do, or really, I mean, other artists had done it before in the past, but not in a, just such a deliberate, thought out idea, a theme, right? So it just becomes this inspiration. Really, especially when you're digging into your own imagination, your own way of doing things. It's inspiring to see somebody who, I mean, especially then, think about it. I mean, look at all the newspapers are writing stuff about you, I can't imagine all the flack you must have got. Today, I mean, it wouldn't matter what you did, really, today. I mean, it wouldn't be that nuts. It would, maybe it could, I don't know. I've seen some of the comic strips they made in Denmark about the Middle East or whatever. Those got pretty controversial. I mean, I think some lives were threatened over some of those things. So, so we, you never know what's going to happen.
But
When
I mean,
you dig into your intuition. What was that?
I was going to say, he had so much negative press, and to even have copies of his paintings burnt in effigy.
Right.
And that's
I know, by art students.
By students.
By art students. That was,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Oh.
That's not good for your ego.
Well
They were
put.
copies. They were copies by students and then
Oh, okay.
burnt in effigy.
Yeah, the copies. Yeah.
Oof.
You know, some personalities, it might actually be a positive thing. Yeah, they just have more to react against.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, pretty exciting time to be an artist. So, okay. So how about we'll do. Do we do a value study? I guess we could do a value study. And we'll do a value study. Pretty vertical piece, but not. Gosh, now, maybe we should be painting that red studio, huh? I just got it because I liked what they were saying about modern art.
That would be cool to try the red studio.
Do you want to do it? I can download it and send it to you guys instead of this one.
Sure. Sure.
Want to do that instead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So I thought that was an oil. I thought that was an oil because.
Yeah, it is an oil. That's
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's do the one.
Do this one.
Yeah, we'll do
Yeah.
the one you chose today. We
Sometimes.
can do that one another time.
With an oil.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know where my head was. I was just thinking. You know, I liked the way the painting told the story of modern art.
Yeah.
You know? So that's mainly what it was. And Matisse is such a vital player in that. Okay. So yeah, all right. So we'll do something around that big. And let me zoom in.
Do we know roughly the year he painted this, or what period in his life?
You could look it up. I didn't
Yeah,
see anything on it.
maybe some of the ladies know how to look it up.
I mean, what you could do is you could just drop this in Google Images, and a lot of the same image will come up, and then you can research all of that.
Maybe I don't even know how to drop it.
Just drag and drop it into it.
Oh,
Let's see, Google. Google Images. All right, so can I just? They have I think. Okay, go to Google Images, right? And then if you go to Google Images and it says search by image, there's a little camera on there. Boom. All right, then you upload an image. I thought you could drag and drop it. I think you can. Choose a file. Okay, right here. That uploads it. Okay. And it tells you the name and everything. Wow. And then, okay, here it is. The name is, I can't say it. You know what I can do? I can screen share this with you. That's easy. Okay. This will be a complete answer. Okay, so I dragged and dropped it up into here. You just write Google Images, and I'm sorry, and then I went to this.
okay.
I went here, and I just upload the image. Boom, and so I went to my desktop and I put that in there, and then this came up. Okay, so there's the name, there's the date.
1911.
Oh, I got it too. Cool.
Yeah, and then you could go to any of these, like this is Wikipedia, where you know everything is correct. No, and then well, this gives you now that's an oil, so maybe the watercolor was designed for the oil. So related works. Anyway, Fauvism, Expressionism. There's one. Another. Oh, they're really going for the oil. Oh. I was wanting the, so sometimes if you just hit the image like this, so there again. Now, why does it say 1954? Interesting. So that's weird. I doubt that one was done in 1911 and one was done in 1954. So you can just go back and hit. That says 1954 is too.
I think he died in 54.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. That's right.
Anyway.
Anyhow, so that's how you do it.
Okay.
You're researching images. That's what you do. Just drag and drop it in there, and okay. So, and if you can anyone say that name? I don't even.
Le Coucou.
Le Coucou. Okay. So now, what do I always tell you to do? Don't put everything in the center. And what does he do? He puts it in the center. Okay. Because it's different. It's a different thing when you're doing your own thing. Now, you're doing it for you. And maybe you want to solve that problem. Or maybe that's an issue you want to tackle. Why is everybody always saying don't put everything in the center? And why does everybody put it in the center? Maybe we should want to put it in the center. I don't know. I mean, they say you shouldn't. But that's in like naturalistic composition. I remember when I really first started studying, because most of the time early on, I would do art, but I didn't really take it all that serious. But when I started taking it seriously, I did have a really good friend who was quite knowledgeable about art, and we talk about art quite a bit. And he used to tell me that it was really all about the craftsmanship, and so we'd look at Norman Rockwell and all this, and so I just remember thinking, oh, okay, so Norman Rockwell must be really good. Because I remember as a kid thinking to myself, Norman Rockwell, I didn't even know this was a painting. I thought it was a photograph. I mean, and then I just remember thinking, wow, that's amazing that people can do that. I didn't know that people could do that. It's a photograph, wow. And then it wasn't until later when I had a teacher go, yeah, but it doesn't really look like a painting. It doesn't look like a person did it. And that threw me, because then I'm thinking, oh, okay, so what is a good piece of art? I just remember being so confused for so long. What is a good piece of art? And it really comes down to what you accept. But oftentimes what happens with people is, oh, I love this saying, because there's this person, and they go, I know what I like. I know what I like in art, And the other person says to them, maybe you just like what you know.
So true.
So true. So in other words, educate yourself. Maybe people are coming from a different point of view. And maybe the view isn't all that radical. I mean, is it all that radical to say, well, I had this idea and I just kind of wanted to put it out there and see if I could make it work somehow. I have never seen it done before, but should that stop me from wanting to do it? So anyway, this pattern on here gets pretty intricate. So I think we could just sort of, at least for now, we can just sum it up here real quick. Wow, a lot of stuff going on there. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right, this and this. So the idea, of tackling Matisse is both simple and very complicated at the same time. It's interesting, here we are 100 years, 150 years after modernism having this conversation. But you know, they say that intellectual thought is about 150 years ahead of the masses. And so you'll find that if things that you saw that were just starting to creep into intellectual thought, you know, maybe at the Industrial Revolution, were starting to get accepted, maybe at least for the masses, you know, beginning in the 50s or maybe the 70s. It's just weird. I remember in school them saying that. I'm thinking, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Rob?
Yeah.
Do you think he had a cloth with that pattern and a vase with that pattern?
Probably. Probably something very similar.
Or I was thinking, you know, maybe he had just one with the pattern and decided to, through his imagination, do the other thing, which was sort of similar, but maybe not.
It's all possible, but I know he was obsessed with patterns, and he would probably buy fabrics to set these things up. But who knows, maybe he interpreted that pattern totally different. Maybe, you know, it's almost as if the table is white on blue and the vase is blue on white. So yeah, that'd be interesting to think about. Oh, no, wait a minute. Okay. So again, the Prussian blue and the red here. Just going to do a quick value study. We have some pretty dark values down here. So that'd be one of probably the darkest values, the blue right around in here. And now, you know, later on when we get into the color part, I'm pretty sure that's an ultramarine blue. At least that's what it looks like. You never can tell with these things. Reproductions just don't always cut it, because this could easily be a cobalt blue or something.
Or I was thinking even a light Prussian. But...
Well, it looks pretty violet, at least from here, or at least what maybe yours is coming out more green than mine. Mine's looking very more of a violet. I would say use whatever you see best. I'll just make some suggestions and then use what you think's best. All right, good enough. This is pretty intricate. All right, so fun. And yeah, so on here, yeah, it's kind of outlined. Yeah.
Well, somebody's unmuted.
Yeah, let's make sure. Let me see if I can get in over there. I gotta get my participants up here. Yeah. Mute. Mute. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Apparently, it's pretty easy to do. Okay. All right, so since we have some of this, and a few little things on here. Get pretty dark in here too. Some pretty dark values up in here. These are a little bit lighter. Add a little bit of water. The very top's interesting. I don't know. I mean, I see that yellow up there, and it's sort of I can see the frame too, part of the frame. So that yellow at the top is. I wish I could see how that works, but I guess we just paint it like it is. All right. And I'm half wondering if on this red band here, if he underpainted that design on there with blue first, and then let it dry, and then glaze the red over it. Or did that look? Oh, almost like wet into wet almost. Well, I'm going to try it this way first. Let it dry up a little bit. Some blue things in here. In here. Yeah, it's hard not to think in color when you're doing Matisse. Constantly think value, value, value. If I don't think about it, I'll just go right into the color. And what else? So I guess in this case, we'll just take the gray and put it right over blue. In my case, a blue gray. Whatever. Put that over there. Yes, there are some darker things at the top. Some of this gets really dark up in here. Really. I need you to go up there and look. And then we have a few of these. Not all that dark, but then he's got a couple little pops of dark in there, really. And the flowers are pretty light. I would say, yeah. We have a few little midtones in there. And then a couple of dark things. Not really dark, I'd say like a 5 value. And back here, I forgot to even lay this in. Probably about a 4 value back here, maybe 3. Not too dark. So if white was 0 and that was a 10, when I say 3 value, that's all I mean. See, the blue back here is almost the same value as the yellow flowers. Probably lighten that up. My flowers could be a little darker. This is quite dark. Now that I have this value down, I can see, oh, I should have gone darker over here. Kind of a lighter orange there on the. It's interesting doing this value study. Wow. Kind of expecting it to be a little bit easier. A little bit lighter over there. Yet Matisse challenges me again. And we do have a few little midtones in the Vase. Pretty interesting. Now I don't care if you don't get the values pretty close, but you probably will. I find when I go for color, I get my values even better than if I just go for value. But usually that's after doing the value study, so I don't know if I'm 100% on that. So I'll do the value study first, and then usually my values are better in the color study. Maybe that's because I did the value study first. I'll assume that's why it is. Okay, let's do it again. So we've got our friend here, Mr. Vase. Take the bottom down to about, oh, it's pretty high up there. Maybe up to there. And I've got this part and this. And do need a little bit more room down here. Let's see, this comes down about there. That feels pretty good. So I think my width is good, just thinking a little bit more. That's what I did on the last one too. So let me shoot this out a little bit. Here. And we have this band, and then we have the orange band, and then we have the red band, and then right at the top we have this sort of yellow with some reds in it, and we have our frame. So you see how I sort of stayed to the outside of all these things instead of getting too intricate too quick? It might be better when you're just laying it out. Because now that I have this all framed out, it's pretty easy to hit my little pattern on there. I don't think I really need to do it with the pencil, really. This on the ground here, I'm thinking as far as color goes, I'm not going to go. I'll draw it out on the original, but I think the thing to do here is just paint it in, and it doesn't matter if we don't get all the patterns perfect. I got a little too crazy on the value comp. Okay. Right. So I'm not even gonna draw the pattern in this time. Just paint it
in. Rob?
Yeah.
I looked up the word tapis, and it means a small tapestry that could be used on the floor, or wall, or table.
Tapestries, yes.
But it says blue a rose. I would think that means pink. So I wonder if that white really is a pink. I don't know. Does anyone speak French?
I took a French class once. I don't remember anything.
Gosh, I took French all the way into college.
Really?
Yes. No, I'm not good at languages.
I'm using ultramarine blue here, everybody, just so you know.
I have Google Translate if anybody is interested.
Oh, haha. Smarty pants.
You think it's the rose? The vase has roses in it.
Makes sense.
The title said Les Coucous Tapis Bleu et Rose.
Obviously, Phoebe's not here because she knows.
Yeah.
Well, how do you
Maybe
spell
those
it,
are
George?
roses. Maybe those are roses in the
George,
vase.
how do you spell it?
Well, TAPIS.
TAPIS.
And then BLEU.
VL.
B is in boy. B is in.
Oh, B is in boy. Okay.
BLEU. ET, which is and then ROSE.
All one word?
No, 3 words. 4 words.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so tapis is one word?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
The blue is another word.
BL.
EU.
EU.
Ew. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and then EET.
EET?
1 E.
1 E. T T.
1 T.
Oh, 1 T, sorry.
And then ROSE.
ROSE. Blue and pink rug.
Oh. Blue.
Tapis, blue, etros, ETROSE.
Yeah. Well, and it also can mean a table covering or a carpet or a wall hanging.
Right. Okay, blue and pink rug.
So,
Tapis, blue.
but definitely that looks blue and white in our photo.
I know, huh? Interesting.
Anyway, I'm just using
Thanks,
ultramarine blue. And putting it down, pretty heavy, knowing that it's going to dry lighter. Okay. These designs really echo his later cutouts. So if this is 1911, he had been doing these sort of flat floral pattern things much of his career. Oops, left that one out. Not good enough. And I'm going to take that same blue blue on here. Do. Okay. A little bit of that same blue up here in this corner, I think. Ultramarine blue. And even in here. Much lighter here. And my theory was that he maybe used the blue in here and then glazed over it in red. All right, so then kind of a yellow, Naples yellow to a yellow ochre somewhere in there. So I'll just take yellow and red and blue, cad red, cad yellow, ultramarine blue, and much more yellow. Yellow. So it's more of a dull yellow. Just get all that going. Right, more yellow. So with the red and the yellow, I'm sorry, the red and the blue make a violet. So the red and the blue will make your yellow not so saturated. Oh, a lot of work for that. Which came out awfully gray. And these darker yellows in there seem to be a little more red in that family. And then the reds in there I'll come back and do a little bit later after it dries up a little bit. We've got the greens at the top, which look a little bit blue, like a blue-green. So I'll go with the Prussian blue and just a little bit of lemon yellow. Mostly a Prussian blue. That was more light. Mostly it's probably 80–90% Prussian blue. And some really dark darks in there too. I would venture to say that those are mostly just Prussian blue, but that's all I'll use. And, you know, same little accents up in here. I think they're very similar.
How did you get the yellow again?
So it's just cad red, cad yellow, ultramarine blue. Make sure there's a whole, it's dominated by yellow though.
Okay.
So if it gets too yellow, just add more of the red and the blue to gray it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm pretty sure that this red we're using over here, which looks like cad red, is the same red that's in the roses here. So I'll use cad red. Let me test this out. Is it cad red light? If you don't have cad red light, just add a little more cad yellow to your red. Well, let me see this now. That looks like it. Kind of an orangey red. Oh yeah, that looks like it. Okay, that's cad red light. So I did add a little bit of cad yellow to that, to a regular cad red. You get that, you know, I'm seeing it up in here too, so whatever I used up in there. And then that same yellow, I should have put it up here. I did not. Wasn't thinking that far ahead. Now I did glaze this right over the blues, and you know, those look redder to me, so maybe he did put red, little red accents in there first. Love what he does with all the borders. Look at that, crazy. Really? Yeah, pretty similar. I don't want to go over these reds. Just gonna turn into soup. The orange is cad red, cad yellow. Should. Put more of that yellow right in here. Maybe those could be a little bit redder, huh? It's like a cad red light. And more of that yellow up in here. Already had it made. This aqua blue in the background, if you have an aqua blue that looks pretty good, you want to use that, go ahead and use that. If you, that one, I mean, I would probably make that with just Prussian blue. Prussian blue. Oh man, is it just Prussian blue? Wow. You could use, well, really clean that brush though. I got a dirty Prussian blue here. Let's see. Really thin it out. Wow. That's just, wow. That's pretty close. That's just Prussian blue. Look at that. I have an aqua here too. Let's try that. You know, they're so similar. This one's more, you know, more saturated though. So whatever you like. I mean, how are we to know exactly what these colors are? Just make your best guess. I'm taking this, I guess it's ocean or something in this frame. It's kind of blue in there too. Got some little shadows in here. That's just the same. It's this, and it mixed with a little bit of the ultramarine in there, and that's what gave it. So it's a little bit of a different shade for this shadow color. And it does have this brown frame. So I'm going red, yellow, and blue. cad red, cad yellow, ultramarine blue, and then I go with more cad red in it. Let the red dominate it. That's what I do. When I look at complex colors, which are usually some sort of gray, I'll look at that and I'll go, okay, that's a gray, but it's a red gray. So I take my red, yellow, and blue, make a gray, and then I add more red to it. And just let the red dominate it. Once you start doing that all the time, you realize so many complicated colors can be very easily made out of a very limited palette. We're ready to go. That was fun. I got the little light blue. Look at the red line. We had light blue and some little orange accents. Light blue. That's fun. He really likes pattern. I mean, really, really. Maybe they're darker than that, huh? Then orange. It seems like every artist I know that loves pattern just loves Matisse. Hard not, because if you're a pattern lover, then you're usually a color lover. And so when Matisse is just all about color and pattern. And so am I. I really love it. I can remember early on any kind of patterns. Remember in the late 60s, early 70s, I was just a little kid. We'd go to fairgrounds and they'd have those, it'd be on a wheel, it'd be spinning like crazy, and somebody would like squeeze some paint into it and it would splatter all over the place. It would make this really cool pattern design. I don't know what they called those. But
spin art was called.
I mean, that's probably what it was called. I mean, something really smart and simple like that.
Yeah, it was great.
And of course, the tie-dye shirts, still do that today. All that stuff is very much in style. I don't know. I was obsessed with that. I just remember, all the other kids would want to go to the right, and I'd be like, no. I'm staying here. I'm staying here. I want to check this out. Obsessed. What is it doing? What's going on there? I just remember all my attention when anything to do with pattern. It didn't matter what it was. It had to do with pattern. I had all my attention was on that. All right. So if you want to start off with pencil, I don't know if you did. I mean, I don't see any pencil lines, but I don't think it matters whether you do or not. Let's see now. I'm just going to assume it's about this big with the flowers. And the leaves coming out the top. Do I have enough side? I don't think I have enough room there, do I? Because I really want those edges. Oh, and I really like my drawing. That's tough. I hate that. Sacrifice. That's what they call a sacrifice. I really thought it was a little too small. Okay, so yeah. wish I gave me enough room.
Is that watercolor paper?
You know, I'm doing this on my mixed media paper. I don't think he's working on watercolor paper because I can see ripples in it.
Okay.
Doesn't look like he's working on watercolor. I'm just using mixed media because it mimics so many different surfaces.
Okay. And you're doing more vertical than a right.
Yeah, I don't usually do the vertical.
Yeah. Okay.
Boy, my mom loved Matisse. My mom spoke good French too. She used to go to France quite a bit. My grandpa was Belgian, but he spoke, I mean, you know, I don't know why, but I guess in Bruges they speak French. I don't know. I guess. I know he spoke Flemish. He spoke a lot of languages, but anyway, I never knew him. But he went to the Beaux-Arts in France, so. And all of his sketchbooks that I have are written in French. I have about 4. I can't read them, but they sure do look nice. I remember being really intimidated by his paintings, and early on, and my grandma said, "You know, you're a lot better than him, Rob." I was like, "What?" So yeah, she goes, "He was good, but you've got a lot more ability." Like, wow, thanks. I appreciate that.
Nice compliment.
I know. That was after I was already pretty accomplished, so I think I was probably in my 20s by then. I just remember going, "Thanks, Grandma. Wow."
Now these are your biological mother's parents.
Yeah, my biological grandma, who went to a convent, very, very proper, I guess, and then her mom and dad, my great grandparents, owned a French restaurant in Chicago, and I guess it was quite a big deal. So wait a minute, I don't know. And my mom, how'd it go? My grandpa came over here right after art school, came right over here and just wanted to be in America, I guess, and so he did. And got a job in a French restaurant, and that's how he met my grandma. My grandma was the hostess at 16, and he was like 30, I don't know. And I don't know, it was, that would have been 16, so that would have been 1922, 23, 24, like 1925 or something like that. And then somehow a little baby came around, and so they got married. And that didn't, well, he passed away really young. He was only like 40. From inhaling too much of the mustard gas. In World War II, he fought for the French Foreign Legion. World War I, excuse me, World War I.
Yeah. Oh, well, they weren't married that long then.
No, not long at all, and it really set my grandma up for a lifetime of just torment. So that really explains a whole lot. And she really tried to make amends toward the end. I mean, she really understood what she did to the family. And it was the reason I ended up in foster homes. Really, I mean, not totally. It's not totally her fault, but you can't count her out. And so she and my mom had a lot of problems. But it's just weird, you know. I mean, my mom ended up becoming extremely rebellious, and she was this, you know, beautiful redhead who decided to come to Santa Monica from Chicago. And she was an artist. She just knew she was an artist, and she was just going to get into the whatever was going on. And so she got into acting, she got into modeling, she got into art. She was just whatever. Spoke many languages. And you know, I watch movies, and I think, oh my gosh, you're making a movie about my mom. It's, you know, she was just a really strange. I mean, they used to say, you're either going to love her or you're going to hate her. There's no question about that. She's extreme.
And she had a short life also, right?
Yeah, she got cancer really young.
Died in what, her 30s?
No, she got cancer in her 30s. She actually lived quite a bit longer, but I had to grow up in foster homes. but she would still take me, I mean, out to museums and all kinds of things. I mean, even though, I mean, I come see her on the weekends, and yeah, she loved to take me to museums. That was such a big deal. And I was the only one, I guess, out of I'm the youngest in my family, so. Oh, she loved Matisse. Ooh. I mean, she was all about modern art, all, totally. But she would completely educate you about the classics. She loved Rembrandt. Oh my gosh. She talked to me about Rembrandt. And she read, oh my gosh. I remember as a kid, I'd come, you know, I'd come off the bus, I'd walk right in, and she'd go, okay, let's give you something to eat and everything. Now, I want you to run this bag of books down to the library. They'll have another bag of books for me. And so, or whatever bookstore it was, or whatever. She goes, they have a bag of books over there, and then I mean, she just read like unbelievable. She was a total art historian. She'd tell you anything about. She was a huge reader. And I was always the bag of books, and I wasn't interested in any of the kind of books. She was always reading autobiographies and then mysteries and things like that. But I get into some books too. I get, you know, like a lot of comic books and stuff. Mad magazine. She liked Mad magazine. I liked it for the artwork.
Do you remember of Spy versus Spy?
Oh my gosh, yes. Are you kidding me?
And then
Oh,
there
yeah.
was the comic. I can't remember, but I love that magazine.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. All that. You know, I mean, even though it was kind of crazy, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about street smarts. I tried to pass that on to my daughter. She is pretty street smart, actually. I remember, you know, this bus station in Riverside, which was just, I mean, I didn't know at the time. I didn't know that there's just, ladies of the night. You got criminals. You got I mean, it was all there. I just remember going, oh, guess this is the way it is, huh? Crazy stuff. Okay, ultramarine blue is where I'm going to start, and I'm just going to. I do remember too. I mean, it really does. In fact, I used to teach this doctor, and his wife knew all these movie producers. She's a fashion designer, and she goes, I got a guy. She goes, would you like to make a movie about like what happened to you as a kid? And I was like, oh man, I'm not sure I want to go there. But it does. So much of it's like right out of a movie. It's weird. And her life reads like a movie too. My gosh, pretty extreme stuff. She came over here and found herself a cowboy in California. I guess he was from New Jersey. My grandma moved out here and opened up a tavern up in Big Bear, and yeah. But he's quite the craftsman. He's a farrier, master farrier, so he'd shoe the horses, but he's also quite the cowboy in the time. Wrote all kinds of stuff. We had all these pictures of him.
Is that, what color is that you're painting with?
I'm using ultramarine blue.
Okay.
Yeah. Ultramarine blue. It's so beautiful. Wow. Kind of watering it down a little bit.
Rob,
Yeah.
in painting and in drawing this, I mean, the top of the flowers and that picture and everything feels like it's pushed in, crowded into the ceiling.
Yeah, you got pattern, and you got this pushed up into there, and yeah, he really goes for the edges, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like, don't do that. That's what a tangent's all about, isn't it? Or
that's probably what he's playing with. He's probably going to places where you're not supposed to go, and seeing if he can make it effective.
yeah,
Maybe in his own world that was effective, and this is why they called him all the names, because here he is trying. Here's the thing that I've come up with on my own. Okay, if you're gonna have a style, then you're gonna have to break rules. I mean, I guess you could probably take rules and exaggerate them, but even exaggerating them, okay, now you're breaking a rule. So, if you know many style people like I do, they're almost all, or maybe all, rebellious. It takes a rebellious personality to do it in the first place. Now, maybe not a total rebel or something, but you have to have that that instinct to want to just be brave enough to go to places where others won't go. They won't do it because they're too afraid of being ridiculed, for one thing, or they need the rules for themselves. Or it's all okay, we're all different, but like I probably told you before, I have a friend who says there's an absolute rule to every single thing in art, everything. And let me tell you what, that guy knows them all, like the back of his hand. It was. I've just never met anybody so tightly wound in my whole life. But, well, he can paint, no question about it. I mean, it's unreal. Hanging around here, I guess, you pick your friends. What do you pick the friends for? Because maybe they have something that you want. There's something there that you're intrigued by. And I just remember thinking, yeah, I really need these rules. I need to hang around some people because honestly, the style stuff for me was pretty natural. I mean, I kind of always did that. I always flew by the seat of my pants and just see what happens. I was very comfortable there. What I wasn't comfortable with was all the rules, memorizing all the rules, and then getting so good at them that you become intuitive with the rule, and then using them in your work. And a lot of modern artists will tell you you're going to sacrifice your own style if you do that. And I think they're right. But for what I wanted to do, I needed the academics, really. So. And then I left them all behind. And now here I am teaching everything, which is just a blast, because I do love it all. I love rules and I love style. It's a great place to be, but it's not as an artist, you kind of have to, well, you don't have to completely pick. There are artists who have married everything. Wayne Thiebaud is a good example of an artist who has all kinds of rules going on and then all kinds of style going on too. I mean, he worshipped Matisse. I've even heard him lecture about Matisse. I watched him give a lecture on Matisse and then talked to him afterwards. Oh, what an approachable guy. And he knew him. Me and my friend that went over there to check out that lecture he gave. What a smart move that was on our part, because I was not expecting to get to just sit there and ask him questions, and he's so approachable. Any question you had, he just talked to you like he was your uncle or something,
When was that?
Oh, that was in the 90s, early 90s, like 90, maybe 91.
Mm-hmm.
He was over here at UC Irvine. We didn't care. I don't care. I would have gone to San Francisco or anywhere to listen to him. And just remember, he comes at a time after Matisse, where okay, he really falls into this group of painters, the Bay Area painters, who are so highly influenced by Matisse. I can't even stress that enough. If you love Matisse, you've got to look at the Bay Area figure painters of the 50s. And they go on to paint well into the 70s. But as a movement, is pretty much finished in the 60s. You have all these great, I mean, I even watched Nathan Oliveira was one of their, I was looking at his work, you know, way into the 80s. Yeah, he's very influenced, and then goes on to do his own thing. He's really, you can't put Wayne Thiebaud really into a category. They call him a pop artist, but I mean, he made his bones in there, but he didn't, what he goes on to become later, I mean, everybody knows him for those little still lifes and everything. They're cute and fun, but he's a very serious painter. I mean, I think in time he'll grow to be even more considered. As maybe, you know, what happens after abstraction, and then pop art, and how he comes into his own, and he'll definitely influence people for a long, long time. I remember one criticism, though, I got from one of my friends is that he's too optimistic. His work is too optimistic, so I thought, okay, I can understand that.
Rob?
Yeah.
I lost the string of the artist you're talking about. Who is it that you went and heard speak?
Oh, that's Wayne Thiebaud, who was highly influenced by Matisse.
Oh, yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah, and highly influenced by the Bay Area painters. It's good to know because these artists are all really influenced by Matisse. I can't stress that enough. Okay, then we go into the 1970s, where you have this Neo-Expressionist movement. By the way, I'm still using the same color, ultramarine blue. I'm going to come up into here. The Neo-Expressionist movement, there's these artists, okay, I can write them off here for you. There's Kia and Palladino. There's so many. Palladino. And of course, Francesco Clementi, he's probably the most famous. Come on, Rob. Francesco Clementi. So those are the Italians. It's a worldwide movement, okay? And you've got plenty over in Germany and England, and oh my gosh, there's Baselitz. Of Germany, and you know, I mean, even Hockney's his own artist too. I mean, he doesn't really fit in one category. He could be a pop artist. He's extremely influenced by. I'll just put Hockney in there just because he's a wild card. I mean, I would love to have a career like Hockney or Wayne Thiebaud, something like that, and insane. But and then you have the Americans, where my gosh, there's man, I can see the artwork, and I can almost say the names. Why aren't they popping in my head? Oh my gosh, can someone have Schnabel, Julian Schnabel? And Schnabel ends up becoming getting into movies, becomes a director and everything. He directed that movie, Johnny Mnemonic or something like that, with Keanu Reeves. I think that was in the 90s. But there's just tons of Americans too who fall into that category. And there's just a bunch. But if you just look up Neo-Expressionists, you'll get all kinds of hits. And you'll see right away how highly influenced they are by Matisse. All right, let's do this. Pattern, straight colors, really, you know, not really mixed colors always. And also really surreal. They mix surrealism into it as well. So it's not just expressionism. They really get dreamy, and it's an interesting art. I mean, there's still a lot of neo-expressionists going on today. It's a movement that really never died. Oh, there's another one in here, huh? I guess Lucian Freud could even be considered a neo-expressionist. He's another artist where, you know, there's just these anomaly artists who come along and they just do their artwork, and it's kind of hard to put them in any sort of category, really. Which, you know, in a way, I think maybe most artists would love that. I have a little bit up in this corner up in here. Also, the thing, one of the big things about Matisse is line dictates so much. Even if we're just working in patterns right here, the line creating a rhythm, he's so aware of line and the direction of things, and every line's a new experience. That's one of his great quotes. Like, what does that even mean, right? I don't know, but it must have meant something to him. I can see how that means a lot to him.
Rob, are you using Prussian blue now?
No, that's just ultramarine blue.
Okay.
I don't know if he did underpaint these in blue. I think what I'll do here is I'm going to add a little bit of blue and cad red together. And I'm going to put these down here, and then I'll glaze over them after they're dry. So we do have a little bit of So cad red and ultramarine blue here. It's not a dissimilar color to put it in this frame here. Sort of almost a violet. Oh, that could have been a little bit redder. So it's ultramarine blue, cad red, and cad yellow. I sort of wanted the red to dominate it. A little redder than that. That's what I wanted. I just pulled it off with a dry brush, kind of sucks it up. There we go. We'll come back with some dark accents later. I should have given more space in here. You know what I'll do here is just, I'll pull these out a little further. But I was a little wide here and a little narrow here. So I think I'm gonna, well, maybe I'll put down this yellow first. And so, again, it's cad yellow, cad red, and ultramarine blue. All right. Do it a little bit redder than that. So that is. A little bit yellower. So that's not too yellow. That's not bad. I could feel a little more yellow in there. Let's hope this isn't too much. Yeah, that's pretty good. And I want some of that in here. And some of that right there. And yellow border. So this feels like it's dry enough. Cad red light is what I used. Or just cad red with a little bit of cad yellow on it. You're just lightening it up with yellow. That's all cad yellow. And so cad red deep is when you add a little bit more blue to it. I would use ultramarine blue. Or you could use magenta, yeah. No, that's probably better. So if you add magenta to your cad red, you'll get a cad red deep. And if you add cad yellow to your cad red, you'll get cad red light. You see? One's just got more blue in it, one's got more yellow in it. That's all. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I want to make it a little bit wide here. Let that dry out. I'll just come a little bit wider with my orange. If I put it in now, it's just going to spill right into this. So one thing I can do is take that red, yeah, and put it in here. All right. What else? I think I'm okay. I want some orange. Cad red and cad yellow. Make it pretty wide here. They look a lot alike. One's just a little bit redder and a little darker. I think I could probably glaze over this again with some cad red. Sorry, cad red light. And then right over here, just too wet. Let's hope. That's bleeding a little bit, that's okay. A couple little greens in there I didn't see. No, I did have a couple of little interesting. These little shadows do a lot for this piece. Kind of a blue-gray. So again, you just take your ultramarine blue, and it's 95% ultramarine blue, but you're just putting a little bit of orange in it to dull it. That's all. Surprised they didn't put anything under here. You wonder what's going on in his mind. He doesn't want very much shadow in this piece. There's no question about that. Probably because he wants these striking colors, and when you put shadows in there, you do lose. You lose the strong colors, and they get subdued. Oh, I was supposed to leave a little blue gap in it. That's why I'm off. Uh-huh. Okay. Well, I won't tell anyone. If you don't. Okay. I'm gonna come back around here with my.
I'm gonna tell Matisse.
Oh, okay. As long as it's only Matisse, because I think he'd be okay with it. Are you kidding me? He'd probably say, "What? Do you know I left that space in there?" Kids today. I doubt he'd be like that. He doesn't seem like a staunchy person, but who knows? That's just Prussian blue. If you need it to be a little greener than that, you have aqua, or maybe just add a touch of lemon yellow to it. But my Prussian blue seems to be just fine. It's pretty green blue. It's funny how you can get all kinds of watercolor effects on this paper. You know, I don't even know, when I'm working on a paper and I forget about the paper, then I know whatever it is, it's okay. I've got my I've got a feel for it, and I know what it'll do for the most part. So, and I do, you know, I actually work on this paper quite a bit. So, you know what it just reminds me of hot press paper. That's all. Just regular hot press paper. It acts just like it. I mean, it's thinner. If you got like 90-pound hot press paper, that'd be about the same.
What are you working on?
This is just a multimedia paper in my sketchbook.
Oh, okay.
It's called Grumbacher. I mean, it's good paper. It's weird, you know. I beat it up. It takes punishment. I'm laying quite a bit of water on here right now, and it's barely buckling. I mean, not any more than my regular watercolor paper does. Because you know, that would be a big problem if we got too much buckling in there. So, you know, I really don't have many problems with it. I can't think of one I've had. So you can do most things on this paper. But if you're looking for an all-around paper for sketching, acrylics, gouache, of course, watercolor, it's a workhorse of a paper. That's just CAD red light again. I wish could have got this a little more vibrant of an orange. Maybe I don't have enough yellow in it. I'm going to do a glaze. See if this works. Try to intensify it. I just put CAD yellow on there. You know, my flowers could use little red, faint orange accents. Let's see. Yeah. For some of these blue greens up here, I just put a little bit of lemon and mostly Prussian blue and a little bit of lemon, because it's a cooler, because you know, I'm looking at a cool green up there, so I need this to be a little greener than that, because that's pure Prussian blue back there. So I just add a little lemon yellow because that's the cooler yellow, the bluer yellow. dark things in there. I was thinking that was just straight. I mean, it almost looks like black, but maybe straight Prussian blue. He's got some really dark things happening up in here. In the corner. It's just interesting the way he's accenting all of this. That looks like ultramarine blue up in there. Yeah, my big takeaway with Matisse is, of course, pattern and line and style. Style, style, style. All day long. So much style in one artist. To have, I mean, remember when he lived, too. It's one thing for an artist to do that today, because you're standing on the shoulders of all these giants like Matisse or Cézanne, who was a whole generation before him, who did all the heavy lifting, really. Think about it, they got ridiculed like crazy. I mean, most artists would have just stopped, been too humiliated to go on. But for some reason, they did the heavy lifting so we wouldn't have to. In some ways, I could see how artists could be a little bit put off by that. Now what do I do? But today, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what period we're in. There will always be things for artists to, get over and get on with. Let's see, you got orange and blue and orange and blue. And this looks like ultramarine blue over here too, just thinned out. One thing, everything he's doing is so deliberate. You see how deliberate everything is? It's not eased up on, like a lot of times in classical work. You get to a color by easing your way into it. You start off really in this gray area, and you just ease your way into it. You don't see big, choppy, blunt, kabam statements like this. So there's arguments to be made. You could argue the craft element for the. I personally hate to say one art is better than another art. I really don't. But I really do. Excuse me. But modern art and classical art, they both have their points to be made. It's really both are I understand. These artists were like Van Gogh, Matisse. These artists are so brave. Now I know most of them are rich, so it's a lot easier for a rich person to do that, right? Because I can just move into Daddy's villa. But still, Cézanne, who was given houses, villas, or whatever. Still very brave to have done that in those times. Okay. little orange statements back here.
But he had the confidence he didn't have to make a living from it if he couldn't.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's had family money.
Yeah. And I think Matisse comes from pretty good money too.
So it can make you gutsy.
Yeah. Whereas I could say for myself and people like me, you know, the first thing I was always thinking about was, well, how am I going to make a living doing this? I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, I feel like I could do it, but you know, at 18 years old, I'm thinking, okay, well, I got to just get as skillful as I can possibly get. That way, whatever comes my way, I can do. And so that's what I did. Pretty easy. I mean, you know, it's not brain surgery to figure it out. But you know, later on, when I was pretty solid with all the commercial arts, I wanted more. And I started off doing fine art. I mean, I got really into fine art in college, and so I just came back to it later. And teaching's really helped. Teaching has helped me facilitate the fine art, no question. And a lot of these artists, a lot of great artists were teachers. It goes on and on and on. But Hopper's story is an interesting story. How he went from the commercial arts and into fine arts. Getting rid of my little pencil line there. And there's been many artists that have. George Bellows has always been an artist that interests me. A lot of these American stories, really. He's another middle class sort of artist who just rose up and became very influential. Still is. And apparently was a pretty happy guy, which is, wow. What they say. A few things, you know, I could see a little more saturation. Just a little more saturation on my yellows. I mean, it's just little touches of saturation in there. And anything else you need to some of these. Yeah, that's a little dark, huh? Yeah, that's fine. I'm thinking my background could be a little more. A little darker, a little more saturated. That's dark. And really saturated. Yeah, if I add a whole bunch of water to it and spread it all out, maybe I can just, yeah. And he really liked bright colors. Wow. For people who like really just straight, bright color that is not mixed. Matisse. Just those statements he made. How did he know to make them? I mean, everybody, so many people emulate him now, but but I see very few people that are innovating like that.
Kind of reminds me of like nobody could do the Beatles anymore or the Rolling
Right.
Stones. It's the same.
Yeah. How do you, I mean, really? There's one and then that's it. And you can emulate it. I mean, so many artists, so much music has been influenced by the Beatles, but I don't know. One of the things about pop art, or pop in all the arts, including media, it's just that mass consumption that they just seem to dumb everything down. I know that the Beatles were pop, no question, but I'm talking about pop art too. So much of it gets, I mean, they were actually against aesthetics. So much of pop art was, especially Andy Warhol. It's really an anti-aesthetic thing, really thumbing their nose at any of this, because it's all about, if I show you this Campbell soup can enough, you will accept it as a beautiful, or whatever I want you to accept it as, It's like mind control, really. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It makes you really question what is good. I mean, what is good anything? What really is it? And every single generation comes along and they have a little different definition of it, or maybe a lot different definition of it. My daughter educates me on that all the time. She's quite, I mean, I really listen to what she has to say, because she's quite on it. I mean, she doesn't make art that much, but she's quite the student. She will educate you. She should probably, I don't know. She's definitely got my mom's flair for style, no question. And so intuitive. She just seems to get it and know what's going on. Well, let me see, do I have any turned in yet?
You deserve a break.
You guys want to work on them for like 5 or 10? How about?
Yeah.
Okay, we have some. How about I give you, let's see, it's 11:31. How about like 11:37? Okay? 11:37. Oh, that's weird. I have 2 different times here. Okay, then how about 6 minutes from now? Okay. I'll get the whole thing ready here.
Recording stopped.
Okay. All right, probably enough to get started here. And make sure I hit my record button.
Recording in progress.
There's Claire. Oh, that's a good one, Claire. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that works. Did you put a little pink down where the whites are?
No,
Or maybe it's just the
it's actually on toned paper too. It's gray toned paper.
Because I was wondering, because didn't somebody say that it was, they said it was
Yeah.
like blue on pink or something?
It look, if tapas blue a rose means table cloth in pink and blue, yeah. But this does have sort of a pink tinge to it.
Yeah.
I think that might be the Zoom thing.
Yeah.
I found some other photos of the same thing, and they did have pink, pale pink in the whatever tablecloth.
There is pale pink in there?
Well, in some other photos, and there's also more detail on the flowers in those photos.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay, maybe it was different. Well, I'll have to take a look at that. Okay.
This was fun.
Yeah. You know what I didn't do as well as I could copy. I could put. Are you guys seeing that? Oh, whoops, sorry. Whoops, where'd it go? Whoops. Oh, the wrong one. Do you guys see this?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know. So you see the Matisse thing? Okay. I was just going to give you the, if I could get the chat up here. I was going to give you the webpage or where you can look at that video again if you want.
Oh, nice. That'd be great.
Oh, there we go, chat. Okay. There we go. It should be in there. Ah, shoot. There we go. Claire Sassoon. Where'd you get a name like Sassoon? Are you related to the... I'm sure everybody said that, right? No wonder you have such great hair.
No, that Sassoon is not related.
It is neat.
I am related to Siegfried Sassoon. There's a movie about him that just came out.
But let's make sure we're all muted, okay, everybody?
Oh, sorry, that was me. I clicked on the link, so I got into my thing. That was me.
No problem.
Yes, so.
Okay.
That, yes, not the hair of Sassoon.
Siegfried Sassoon? Is that a, what is he?
Benediction is the movie that just came out about Siegfried. But he was my grandfather's first cousin.
Oh.
And what did he do?
He was a World War I poet.
Oh.
Wow. Poet.
Wilfred Owen was another poet he knew, and, he made a great statement against the war and was sent off to a psychiatric institute because of it.
Yeah, I was listening. They say that the first thing they do is, a lot of these totalitarian governments, they'll take the intellectuals, anyone who disagrees with them, they take the intellectuals and throw them in jail and whatever, or like a psychiatric ward or something like that. Yeah.
What country was it?
In England.
Oh.
England. Well, this is beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful. You got it. You got all the patterns.
No, the patterns are hard.
What?
The replicating the patterns is hard.
I know. The table pattern is pretty intricate.
Yeah.
I found it actually a little bit easier just to paint it in than to draw it out first. I don't know why, but okay. Yeah, this is beautiful. Colors are great. Colors are right on. And you got that look of freshness, fresh paint. Really fresh paint on the surface.
Thank you.
The only way to do it is put it on fresh and leave it. That's it.
I actually used turquoise for the turquoise because I couldn't get my other blues to look like what I wanted them to look like.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. Okay. And we're off to Suzanne. Okay, Suzanne. There it is.
Hi.
Good. Nice looking patterns. Hello. Beautiful pattern. What do you think of all this pattern and color?
Very fun. Yeah, it just
very fun, like doodling.
Yeah. I mean, you know, one thing I find in classical, if you know any classical artists, they tend to be so serious. Very, very much so. I mean, they can be, I don't know what the word is, but just taking themselves very seriously, taking the work very seriously. I mean, that's, you know, it's good to do that to a certain extent. Then, you know, you have to be, I don't know, but this work, it just looks fun. Looks like an artist playing, you know? So, and this looks like your work looks very fun and playful. Look at that. Especially the roses or the flowers, yeah. Beautiful patterns, beautiful lines, colors. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, very fun. Although now that I look at it on TV, my the corner of the table looks too pronounced. So I think I need to make that line a little thinner.
A little flatter?
He did have a white line. Well, he did have a white line there, but I think I need to make it narrower.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
I think it looks pretty good, Suzanne.
Yeah.
Thanks, George.
And by the way,
It's very fun.
he doesn't do it here so much, but in other things, you'll see him tilt the perspective. It's almost like the table's tilted toward you a little bit. And he does it on purpose. And it's just to force that idea of flatness. He's more interested in the pattern than in showing you this realistic idea of how light and shadow affect the pattern, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, and you can see this piece, you know, if it has any shadow in it at all, there's little touches of it in the flowers and little bits of it in the vase, but nothing overpowering. He really wants to show the flatness. So,
Well, I must say the orange in the flowers is for George. It's opera rose with the yellow.
Now, and what's yellow? Cad yellow?
Yes, cad yellow.
Yeah, opera rose will make a really nice cad yellow. It does have a touch of blue in it. I mean, it make a nice cad orange.
But it, makes it pinky and pretty.
It's really pretty, yeah.
Thank you.
It makes the painting.
Yeah, George's opera rose. Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Suzanne. All right, Teresa. All right, here we go. Fantastic. Wow. I mean, this really looks like Matisse did it.
No, thank you.
Great colors, pattern, excuse me, the line quality. What do you think? Any thoughts? Anything you want to, any comments?
The patterns are not easy to paint.
Right.
Yeah, after I draw them, when I fill in the colors, I made the patterns, round shape more than the sharp edges.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's not what I wanted.
This is a nice copy. Nice study, I should say. All right. Thank you very much, Teresa. Nice work.
Thank you.
AIM member. I know who this is. No name though. But does anyone know who this is?
Oh, I bet it's mine. It's Cindy.
Oh, is this Diane?
No, it's Cindy.
Oh, Cindy. That's right.
Yes, it's like mine. I
That's
managed
right.
to send it. This is a miracle.
What? Did it got here?
I took a photo and sent it. This is a first.
Oh, okay. Well, you did it great. No problem.
Okay.
Sometimes what I do is I have people shoot it 2 or 3 different ways, and that way usually one of them gets through. This is a great copy. Yeah, great color, pattern, line, Now I really am interested. What's your take on the day?
I love the fabric.
Yeah. The pattern, huh?
Mm-hmm. I could paint that several more times. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's a real winner there. That's quite a nice painting.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Really fresh brush strokes too. Really, really. You can tell you just one time, boom. Okay, Cindy. Excellent work. That's a beauty. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Julie, you got one here on the side. There we go. Perfect. Now, if you don't know which way to do it, just shoot it 2 or 3 different ways, and it should get over.
The background looks really muddy on the camera now.
Yeah, you know, what is it? Is it more saturated than that in life?
It just doesn't, it looks a little more turquoisey, a little more true. But
right. Yeah, some cameras will rate the colors too saturated. Other cameras will rate them not saturated enough. So you can tweak that, but I mean,
yeah. I was anxious
to
do this one when you were talking about going to the red room. I wanted to do this one because I wanted to know how to do that color. I didn't know it was just diluting the blue that we had.
Yeah. Yeah, so sometimes now it could also be that your water might have been a little dingy.
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
When you're putting down a color, you put it down really good, and then sometimes the water is a little bit.
Yeah.
So I've done that. Or sometimes there's just a little extra residue in my brush, and oh, there we go again. Got to really clean the brushes. But this is certainly fine. Yeah, this is working. You got good strong patterns in here. Beautiful line, great color. Your colors are right on the mark. So, yeah. Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joey. Gina? Oh, you're on the U-Pole paper. Whoa, that's no easy task.
This was on mineral paper.
Oh, you're on mineral paper now. Okay.
I have to say that pattern is something that I just do not enjoy painting around stuff. And I was just sitting here thinking that would have been a perfect thing to use resist on.
Oh, wow. Now I wonder how it works on the
pattern and resist and then put the blue over it and been done with it, you know?
Yeah. I've never tried it on the mineral paper. Hopefully it wouldn't absorb it too much. It probably wouldn't. It'd probably be just fine.
Yeah.
I'll have to try some experiments.
I like looking at this picture, but this was not fun to me to paint.
Yeah. Well, that's totally okay. I've seen some of yours where everybody else had a hard time, and it's like you're just a walk in the park.
So, how did I know you were going to say that?
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
No, that Gina would say it.
Yeah, because that, painting around little details like that, and I'm just, yeah. But anyway, it kind of captures some of the feel of it, I suppose.
You know, this little picture frame up in the background looks really cool behind yours. I love the real intuitive color floating around. I mean, it still looks really good, like a Matisse. So.
After I put in the blue, I thought I would have just done this as color fields. A dark blue, a light blue, the red and the orange, and it would have been cool.
Yeah. Or maybe it would have been better just to paint around the whites and just leave them, and who cares if it doesn't end up perfect, you know, just leave it pure white. I don't know. But I think your idea with the what do you call that stuff, the liquid mask or whatever would be good on this.
Actually, what would have been more fun is to reverse the colors and paint the pattern in blue and leave the white behind. That's what I would have liked to have done.
Oh.
After the fact, I thought, yeah, that would have been fun. the painting around.
So are you saying paint it all blue and then come over with white?
No, I'm just saying reverse the colors.
Yeah,
Paint the pattern in blue and leave the background of the fabric in white.
Yeah.
I would have done that.
But then you'd have to reverse the picture too, so it was blue with white patterns.
No, I would have just left it and been lazy.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gina.
Thanks, Rob.
You're welcome. And George. All right, George. What do you think? This looks good.
Yeah, I loved it. I always loved Matisse. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his paintings to me always look like fun. You know, that he always enjoyed it.
This does look like you really caught the flatness too of the design on the table. Really, and he'll do that over and over and over again. That's why he gets later on. He just gets into just cutting out colors and putting them on a wall because they're just.
Yeah, I like those too. His collages. Yeah.
He's really interested in that graphic impact. Just the impact of pure colors with clean edges. Great way to do it too. But yeah, this is great. You know, I mean, yeah, your flowers came out a little bit more like mine. Mine are a little more muted. Sometimes if you glaze it with a little more yellow, you could get like on your top.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looks like there's a lot more of this in there, but no, small thing. Yeah. Or if you wanted a more red along here, you know, really clean the brush. Sometimes even the paint can be a little bit dingy because you put other colors in there or whatever, and so it's hard to get that. You got to really clean off the color.
So what were you? So you're saying try to maybe make that a little more red? Yeah.
Yeah. Now it might end up too dark if you went red or with it. I think it's fine.
And you mentioned the yellow at the top.
Yeah, just see how saturated that is and how dull these yellows are compared to that.
Right.
So then I was just saying maybe make this a little more saturated like that is up there. Just glaze some probably just cad yellow into it would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Try it.
Yeah, I will.
Easy stuff. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks.
Good. And Diane sometimes mails me more. All right. Hello, Diane.
I just mailed one.
Yeah. Very graphic. And Diane has a background in graphic design. Now, was Matisse an influence on you?
Actually, yes, because of the simplicity of his shapes.
Yeah.
You know, especially his later paper cuts.
Yeah.
Just like doing a flower or a leaf or something. It was just a very simplified shape that still communicated as something organic or a flower or a leaf. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, that definitely was definitely influential that way. So, boy, that pattern was really hard to do. I think everybody's mentioned how hard that pattern was to.
I know. I got into it too. I was like, oh,
yeah,
it's a little hard.
I probably missed a bunch of shapes, but oh well, it's okay.
Well, it looks good. I know here it wouldn't matter.
Thanks.
Yeah, great looking lines, great colors, great shapes.
Yeah, this was fun, Rob.
Well, good.
A lot of fun. Thanks. And I liked the working flat. It was It was also a good exercise in trying to control my water. To try to, especially to get that the big flat, kind of that turquoisey wash in the back.
Right.
So that was for me, a real exercise in just trying to keep it as even as I could. But yeah, sort of.
I happen to have some. I was cleaning my brushes out, and I have some of my water is kind of blue. because all my water needed to be changed to get a really good blue. But what I'll do is, even in the background color, what I'll do is I'll use the blue color when I'm mixing a blue. That way it'll still come out vibrant usually.
Okay.
Whereas if I have a dingy green, gray, yucky army green color, you know, and I mix that in with my blue, forget about it. It's gonna be yucko.
Yeah.
Yucko City. So.
That's a good tip. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. And we're off to Wendy's place. All right, Wendy. Hey, did you go? How big is this one?
It's odd. It's like 11 by 15.
That's a good
Must have been on
size.
sale.
And you're working in acrylics, right?
Yeah, with a lot of water, actually.
I know,
I
they
found it a
look
good-
very much like a watercolor.
The patterns were kind of a good exercise in drawing, I thought.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, you get some really fresh color. Wow, really bright, fresh color in the acrylics. But when you wash it out a little bit more like this, it looks more like watercolor. Even though, I mean, if you did it on paper, like my kind of paper, it would look more like his, because you don't get the canvas showing. I love the canvas, so I don't mind. But if you're looking for that, I think this is a great looking copy, and that's all that matters.
Oh, thank you. It was fun.
Yeah, and even the way you did the roses, wow. I mean, it looks like you did them, and then you came back and glazed back into them.
I did, because it got really, I put some raw umber in there and it got really brown, and so I had to come back with a lemon yellow.
That looks tasty. That's yummy right there.
Kind of scary.
It's scary up close?
Yeah.
I like that. And you tend to like this kind of art anyway, right?
I do. I think it's pretty forgiving. It's not so detail oriented.
I mean, I would say the more graphic type of art. I remember you really, Van Gogh resonated with you, Matisse. So that's something to know. I mean, the artists that take the, let's say, maybe right at the very beginning of modern art, or maybe even some of these I would definitely give some of these Neo-Expressionists a look, because they're doing a lot of the same thing.
This that's kind of my style, so I will check that out.
Yeah, that's what you do. You say, oh, there's a lot of people doing this. Even now, they still do quite a bit. All right, thank you very much. Nice work.
Thanks, that was fun.
Yeah. Good. Oh, Teresa. And beautiful.
You know, I have a 2 there.
Oh, you have 2 there?
Well, yeah, I think I did Matisse.
Oh yeah, I should know by now, huh? There you go.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And that's just fine with me. All right, laying them down. So I think you're doing everything beautifully, everything correct. If you want more saturated, and this could be your camera too, but like more saturated yellow, more saturated red, or maybe more of an aqua in the background or something like that. Just it could be your water.
It sure could be, and I don't. The blue. My blue green is coming off more blue than I think it needs to be more turquoise.
Yeah, maybe more green.
Yeah.
Are you using are you using the Prussian blue?
Prussian, yeah.
Some Prussians aren't as green as others. It's true.
I know.
If they aren't, I add a little taste of just a little bit of the lemon yellow to it. It usually does the trick.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to let it dry out and do a turquoise glaze over that, and I think that would make me happier.
I would do it. Definitely.
Yeah, okay. Anything else?
I might even glaze a little bit of yellow over your flowers.
Okay.
A little more yellow.
Ochre yellow or yellow yellow?
Well, the yellow ochre actually might be good in this, because you don't want pure yellow. So a good yellow ochre, if it's not too muted.
Okay.
So I would add yellow ochre. If it's too muted, then add cad yellow to it.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll give you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. And we're back down to, let's go. And Mitsuko is a huge lover of Matisse. Is Matisse one of your favorites?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And pattern, I mean, I see I'm always making comments in your work that it's line and pattern and color. These are big things to you, yeah?
Especially this kind of patterns now. I love it. The shape, he does this a lot.
Yeah.
With
really
textile.
Yeah. Yeah, I think really
organic,
organic.
But that has sometimes it has like a cut paper has a little edge, little bit.
It does.
Not just organic, but has edge.
Right. This really sharp edges. This is another thing that I'm always talking to people. Maybe your edges shouldn't be so sharp because they kind of look cut out, And I'm thinking, now that's exactly what we want. So almost every rule can be broken, or it depends on the context. So here we are. In this context, the sharp edges totally work. So yeah, nice colors, line, edges. Beautiful.
Thank you. The background blue, I have been using this color a lot. Manganese blue Nova from Holbein.
Yeah. Yeah, manganese blue. If you guys are familiar with cerulean blue, they have a lot in common. Manganese blue is a little bit darker, but they really are very close. So those are great. I know they're both great substitutes for a green blue. I think phthalo is another one, but it's so powerful that I usually tell people to, be careful with that stuff. But the manganese is fine. And cerulean might be a little weak, but depends on you. I tend to like really strong colors and then just cut them down, but so I do like the phthalo. But anyway, that's good. Manganese is a wonderful color. Not a lot of people use it, but yeah. My friend Cindy, I think I got some manganese blue from you, Cindy. So.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I've been messing around with it. Not here, but thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Mitsuko. And where are we? And Hector. It's a Hector.
Yeah.
Hector, another Matisse lover.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It goes without saying. Great, strong. Just like with all your work, you've interpreted it, and I mean you got everything. Great designs on the ground, great patterns, colors. What's your big takeaway from today?
Well, I love the that he forces you to be spontaneous.
Oh,
and
okay.
Sort of drawing with your brush.
Right. Spontaneous.
And color.
Right.
And going for it. Just go for it. Whatever line comes through with that first mark, leave it.
Yeah.
It's just more sort of a weathered hand because he's been doing all these lines all his life.
Yeah.
But it gives us, if we copy him or try to, it frees you up to see that those lines are okay.
Yeah.
Everything doesn't have to be perfect. I'm worried about soft edges or hard edges. I don't know. But his design for sure just knocks you out. It really does.
Yeah. I'm writing down your notes. Spontaneous, draw with the brush. Doesn't have to be perfect. I really liked what you had to say about drawing with the brush and being spontaneous because
this for anyone should free you up.
Yeah.
Get the feeling, get the feeling in you of being free.
That's so good to hear you say that. Like, good for me as well as everyone else. I mean, I you know, all of us can be afraid of being this daring, and by doing the copy, hopefully, and watching the video and getting your head into it for a while, hopefully it'll head you toward, you know, not being so, if you are insecure about it, not being so insecure about just doing things that are really intuitive and
another thing that we do is we judge ourselves.
Right.
And this painting, if you've done it freely, shouldn't be judged by you at all.
Yeah.
Because it's a feeling painting. It's not a realistic.
Yeah, how do you judge somebody's feelings? Yeah. My feelings are better than your feelings.
It gives it, but it also, when you look at it, that freedom is what we're all. Once you reach whatever technique level you want to be at, but it's this feeling of looseness and freeness, but it's still saying something. It's just not, you know, it's just a wonderful feeling.
You know, I have my Sunday class. I have a young girl. She's 18, and she said, you know, my art class, the first thing the teacher does is compare us to each other, and she asked the class. Here's what she asked the class. Ready? Who's the best? That's what she says. I said, what? I'm just thinking, and you know, I go, okay, we're not gonna do that in my class, okay? Just so you know. You know, I just thought, wow. You know, you can get set up for so much failure that way, you know, and just get all these preconceived like notions, you know, in your head. So anyway,
well, that's how kids are today. They're judged on social media immediately if they're good or not.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow. What could the teacher's purpose be in doing?
Know. What is it? You know what I think it is? It's become such a competitive world. They want to make them just super duper competitive.
Right.
Right from the beginning.
Yeah. It's art center.
Is that an art center?
You gotta have that competitive edge.
This wasn't at Art Center, but she might be going to Art Center. And I'm like,
okay.
If this was at her high school, but if someone did that at Art Center, I'd be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that. You know, and then I'm sure a lot of the teachers would say, you know, I've got to get this person ready to get out there in the world and get their heart stomped on, because it's true in the real world. When I got to the point where you could say anything to me and I just laugh, you know. After I heard you'll never work in this town again, you know, after I heard that, I just cracked up at anything people would say to me after that. I mean, I might not laugh in their face, but a few times I did, but I wouldn't take it to heart and be personal. I'd just be like, you know, they're not where I'm at, and that's cool. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for the words of wisdom there, sir.
Thank you.
And I appreciate it. Okay. Yeah. And Janine, oh, beautiful. Janine, is this super big?
No, it's no, it's about 10 by 12 or something.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, no, it's about, 24 by 30, no big deal.
And it's really not that bright. For some reason, it's a little more muted, but.
Yeah. Okay. Now this is a case where I can kind of see it in your reds, where the camera's probably reading it a little overly saturated. And, that's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, great draftsmanship, great color. I mean, this is what I would call a perfect copy for me. I mean, and in the sense that it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, even though it is pretty darn accurate. But you're onto everything that Matisse is, and you're all pretty well versed on Matisse yourself, right?
Yeah, he's one of my faves.
Yeah.
He makes everything come alive.
Well, what did you think of that Red Studio video?
Oh, that was great. I didn't catch right at the beginning, but yeah, I've never seen that before. That little video, yeah, very interesting.
The video, that if you want to, the link is in the chat, so if you want to check it out. But,
okay, thanks.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting too. All right. Oh, this is gorgeous. Are you on hot press paper?
Yeah, I finally bought some. Yeah, I went and bought watercolor paper.
Yeah, because I was noticing the little bit of puddling. Nice.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Nice work. Okay, Lily. All right. Jolly good. Very nice. Now, is the background color ultramarine blue? Because it looks like maybe it could have been a green or blue.
I had a problem with the blue, so couldn't find the right green blue. Yeah, it is ultramarine.
And that hey, you know what? If you can't find the right blue, just use what you have. I mean, that's all I ever do too. All right. Very nice. I think there's a little yellow at the very top, but it doesn't matter. Maybe there's a couple of shadow marks, like light blue-gray on the vase. But nice understanding of the line work, the pattern work, the color. And you're going to get a lot of bloom. This is called a bloom, you're going to get a lot of that when you're working on it. Looks like you're working on cold press, or are you working on?
It's a cold press.
Yeah, cold press.
Do I need to get rid of them?
No, please don't. No, Matisse definitely would not have gotten rid of them. I'm just saying I can tell what kind of paper you're using because it's giving you these marks. I love those marks.
Okay.
Yeah. This is very nice. Well, what do you think? What are your comments? What did you learn?
I'm learning a lot. I'm a novice at all this. I come from a medical background, so art is very new to me. Yeah.
Oh, good.
But I'm enjoying it thoroughly.
Now, are you a doctor or what?
Yeah, I'm a physician, yeah.
Oh.
So it is, when I was younger, in my culture, it's never encouraged, but I love to draw. Yeah. So when I retired, I decided this is what I want to do, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Another doctor.
Did Lily say she's a doctor?
Yeah.
Yes.
What kind?
I was an internist, and then I subspecialized in geriatric, and then hospice and palliative medicine.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I'm an internist.
Okay. Well, nice to know that. We're in the same boat then, yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm an art doctor.
Yes. Rob is our art doctor.
That's funny. I can remember early on. I definitely looked at being a doctor, and And then so many doctors love art. I can't believe how many. I don't know why. I mean, maybe it's just because, you know, it's maybe, I don't know. Whatever. What is the reason?
What is
it's a good outlet? I don't know.
I don't know. It's so different from medicine.
So many doctors, though. I don't know why.
Yeah, my first drawing teacher, art teacher, he was a retired anatomy professor.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up, Lily?
In China.
Sorry. I'm from Burma.
Oh, wow. Cool. I'd love to go there. Wow.
All right.
Well, great. You know, and I'm glad you're in the class. I mean, it's good. This history, especially, you know, if you say, you know, you're in many respects, I don't think. I mean, you're actually pretty darn skillful. If you didn't know that. I mean, you don't just start off in art and do this. So, and then, you know, as we progress, it's wonderful that we can cover all these different artists, and that you understand sort of where we are now in art. Really, anything goes because of where we are in art today. Anything goes today. So, and I want you to know that, you know, you don't have to be a classical artist. You don't have to be a modern artist. You can blend it all and do whatever you want. So, all right. Thank you very much. It's a good copy. Good study, shall we say. Okay. All right, here we go again. Hello, Lisa. Nice line.
Oh, that's fine, yes.
Yeah. They look different up there, huh? I do the same thing all the time. I'm always looking at my work and go, whoa, oh. Sometimes I go, ooh. No. Sometimes I go, wow, I did that. Anyway.
Oh, I did that.
Yeah, you did. And your colors are great.
Thanks.
You tend to like things like this too, right? Real big.
Oh yeah. Paintings. Oh yeah. It's not reality. Yeah, I like that. It's my best.
Well, there's something to know right there. Maybe you should look at surrealism, which is more of like a dreamy realism.
Yeah.
I might take a look at
these
Neo-Expressionist too. What was that?
Right. Just using the watercolor on the blue, and I had to make sure it was not watered down at all because it would run into the white. So I just used it, you know, thick, but it was hard to always get it to spread easily, but I did it.
Yeah, you got good fresh color statements, which means your water wasn't too yucky. Or
no, I started with
the brush is clean, good.
Yeah, I liked it. I loved it.
Well, good. Wonderful. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thanks.
And okay, there's Henry. Oh, Henry's got two. Oops, they're both sideways.
Oh, should I resend it?
Do you want to resend it? You want me to just critique it like this?
Sure. Sorry about that.
It doesn't matter. I can do it like this. Either way. Would you rather resend it, or do you want me to do it like this?
You can just go ahead. I think, yeah.
Is this on silk?
Yeah, it is on silk.
Ah, I can see it.
Yeah, this one is backlit. I think I put the back. The difference is one is taken without the light box.
Yeah.
One is with. If you switch to the other picture, you might see a little difference in luminosity. I try to see the. Oh, this is one with the light box behind, so you can see the shadow. Okay. Yeah. So that one was normal lighting.
Oh, so you're actually lighting it from behind.
Yeah, this is translucent.
Oh, I can see. Yeah, I can see the difference.
Yeah.
You know, you can't see all these details on the other.
Which one would you like? You can choose one, two.
I like this light box one. Wow.
Okay. Yeah, this one is with the lighting, both front and back.
So when you painted it, did you actually paint it on a light box?
Yeah, I did, because I draw the design on a piece of easel drawing paper, you know, for kids. It's like a parchment paper. It's like tracing paper, kind of. So then I put on underneath the silk so I can see the design. So I don't have to draw the design again when I paint. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But I do have to have the template behind for this kind of complicated composition.
Right.
I really like the negative painting on the painting. I didn't really draw them, but it's fun to paint. Yeah, I have a class coming up tomorrow on this pattern called the Blue Willow. If you search Blue Willow with Matisse, this painting actually pops. There are many. I don't know why people may be thinking this is also a Blue Willow inspired, but I heard in the beginning of the class that this possibly has to do with other culture than the Chinese, the Sherril. But obviously, Matisse is a fan of Sherril. I have seen a picture of a tapestry hanging on his studio.
Yeah. Tapestries, definitely.
With the Sherril landscape, actually, 3 figures in the landscape. So this is really a good warm up for my study of this kind of. So yeah, I will teach how to paint a typical Blue Willow design. You know, those China or porcelain from made in England, actually. Yeah.
Oh, the English one, right?
The English one, yeah. And this color really is the same.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. This is very well done. I mean, but painting on silk on top of a light box, that would be really cool. You could also do on top of a light box Yupo, just for the people, you know.
Yeah, if it has thing
like any sort of transparent paper.
Yeah, that's right. Also on this multimedia mixed media paper, I think you can also trace with your pattern underneath it with light box. The light box is really very cheap nowadays. You can get A4 size for under $20 on Amazon.
Wow!
It's a slim light box, very slim. It's just.
Wow, really slim. So it's like how many inches thick? Like
just like a 2/8 or something like that.
Oh wow!
I'm definitely less than a quarter inch for sure. Yeah.
You know, I used to use light boxes a long time ago before computers and everything, but I haven't really looked into them since.
Yeah, look for LED slim LED light box or tracing for those animators or illustrators. They love this. Yeah, it's very. I got from Christmas gift from my daughter. He's an art major. She must use it herself. Yeah.
She's a designer herself.
Yeah, right? She's a graphic designer herself.
Yeah, runs in the family. All right, thank you, Henry.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thanks for sticking to the original plan. I really.
I'm sorry. I got my head. Yeah. Okay, George. Very nice color, George.
Thank you. I was a little skimpy on the flowers.
Little small on the flowers. That's fine.
Yeah.
Nice color. And you have really bold color statements. You know, because you do this quite a bit. So, do you have any suggestions on keeping your water clean, keeping your brushes clean? Do you have any techniques on how you do that, or?
Yeah, well, I'm right next to a bathroom, so if my water gets dirty, I just take it in and let the water run. Because one time you mentioned about the watercolor getting caught in the trap or something, or
right.
Anyway, yeah. So I change my water frequently.
Yeah.
Also, I keep my paints pure in the individual, what do you call it? The wells on your palette.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only mix on the large part of the palette, and I try to make sure my brush is clean when I go into those wells, rather than going into a well with paint on the brush from another color.
I do that too much, yeah.
Yeah. Plus the Holbeins are I think so very saturated colors to begin with.
Yeah. But still, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you
don't, if you're messy with them, they'll get grayed out.
I find my yellows and some reds, but mostly my yellows get dingy quick.
Yeah. And sometimes if I'm too vigorous with like spraying into them and they go into the other well, I have to blot it up with a paper towel.
Oh yeah.
Right away before it ruins all the paint in the well.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I had a feeling you had a few things to say about that because your color is so clean. You put down the cleanest color, and that's something to note. I mean, that's something to, the best painters don't do that.
Maybe you have to be a little compulsive to do that.
Well,
I've been called,
if you need clean color, then you need to be a little compulsive to do it. I mean, you got to be aware, or you're just gonna mess up every time. So
yeah.
So anyway, good clean color, good strong color statements.
Also, my first color for the flowers was lemon yellow.
Oh, so you underpainted it. Oh.
And then I put some yellow ochre, and then some yellow orange, and then a little dot of pure orange in the centers of the orange business.
And you did it all when it was wet, right?
Yeah.
Wet and wet. Wow. So even some things to say about the painting process as well. I mean, not only how to keep your colors clean, but how do you put them down fresh and clean and get some. So underpainting it with an extremely intense color, and then adding your colors to mute, like a yellow ochre over.
Yeah.
The yellow,
lemon yellow.
Lemon. That's smart, because if you were to do the yellow ochre first, it probably wouldn't have the punch.
Right.
It does, so.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good to know. Yeah, if you have any other little secrets like that, let me know sometime.
Okay.
I'd like to pick your brain on that, because you get the cleanest color I've ever seen. Sometimes I want extremely clean color, and I'm kind of a messy artist.
Well, maybe
you've seen me paint. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Thank you,
All
George.
Right. Thank you.
Nice work. And we have Barbara. All right, Barbara. Here we go. Did you know that looks like a birdie? I'm just
No.
I'm sorry.
Now that you put it up here, it does. It looks like a bird with a dinosaur in the background.
I was going to say a horse in the background. A donkey.
That's so easy to do in Matisse's paintings, because he does all these organic shapes. So down here in the patterns, you can find all kinds of things. Who knows? I mean, no, I'm just playing. Yeah, nice looking, very good, very, very nice study here. We have great color, great flat shapes. Actually, you've drafted them out very nicely. They didn't have to be that nice, but they are darn nice.
You know, the pattern, the tablecloth reminds me of a Hawaiian print.
Yeah.
I used to do Hawaiian quilting, and it reminds me of that.
No wonder you have a way with it. Hawaiian quilting, that's interesting. Wow. I love the flat designs you get in. Yeah, so much quilting. I mean, you can trace that back for, my gosh, beyond the Stone Age. I mean, we have, you know, it's another form of arts and crafts that define a culture. Just the abstract pattern, you can see it in, you know, all of our native Americans here, and we've got, you can go, just any culture, it doesn't matter where, for some reason we want to weave stuff. We had to, I mean, but we didn't have to incorporate all this beautiful decoration in there and abstract, purely abstract. So abstraction has been done for millennia and defined. You can look at the abstraction behind Mayan culture, Egyptian culture. You know, every culture really has its own form of abstract design. It's just innate in us. So I'm glad you brought that up. It totally triggered something in me. Yeah, this is great. Any takeaway you had?
Well, of course, the color. I'm always intrigued by color. And I love the line, you know, Matisse is a master of line and outlining. You know, that's another thing that he does.
Right.
Which a lot of artists don't do.
No, I mean, because it instantly flattens things, and so many artists are after three-dimensional form, which I totally get that, but at the same time, you know, that's one of the reasons they call the fauve artists. And by the way, if you guys didn't know, I didn't mention that earlier, but Matisse is the artist that started this whole direction of art called fauvist art, and they were nicknamed the wild beasts. It means wild beasts in French, because of artwork like this. They totally flattened out the picture plane by outlining things. And that's what they were into, though. I mean, they didn't do it because they were lame artists. You know, they did it because they were trying to make a statement. That's brave. So
was Matisse influenced by Gauguin at all?
I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, Van Gogh, Gauguin, they did so much. Again, these artists did so much of the heavy lifting, so that other artists would be brave enough to maybe take it to the next step. You know, so you have these expressionists that come on later, and then you have Matisse, who goes boldly into these graphic designs, and Picasso, who goes boldly into this Cubist way of working, and then out of that, the next generation goes completely abstract. You know, every artist stands on the shoulders of the last. Every generation, you know. So, but even today, people are still looking up at Matisse. I mean, he becomes a breeder of art. I call them breeders. He's certainly a breeder for many generations. I'm sure it'll go on for many generations. Fantastic. Well, wonderful work. Thank you.
Great, thanks.
All right. Did I miss anybody? No, I didn't skip anyone.
Is there? You have one from Susan?
Oh, Susan, Nope, I don't have you, Susan Gutner.
Oh.
Not yet. Let me hit my thing here again. No.
Well, that's weird. It says it sent it to you.
Oh.
Well, not to fear. I'll send it to you again, and
I'll email it to you. The credit.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. Occasionally I get something. It could be, I don't know, a network problem or something, but it's not your problem or my problem.
No, it says it went at 11:59, so I don't know.
So really? Wow, that's probably not going to get here for a while. I've seen them. Sometimes they take 2 hours to get to me.
You know, maybe what I'll do is I'll send it again. I think it's actual size, and I'll just make it, you know.
Oh, that might be the problem.
Okay.
Okay, no problem. All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Later.
Okay, everybody, that was great.
It's Gina. I just like to say I spent the weekend in Denver, and the museum there is really good.
Oh.
They have a new gallery that had wonderful Native American stuff. The curation was fantastic with new and old stuff all mixed together.
Oh wow, that sounds.
Had a nice show of American and European 19th century paintings. I was happily surprised, so I recommend that to anyone who happens to be in Denver.
Yeah.
What's the name of the
Boulder
museum?
far from Denver?
No, Boulder's like half an hour drive.
I was just going to say because remember Michelle? Michelle.
Yeah,
Dayton?
I had lunch with Michelle.
Oh, you did? Oh, how great!
Yeah.
Oh, well, wonderful.
Yeah, it's the Denver Art Museum.
Oh, that's so great that did you guys meet in class or?
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's so great.
That was fun. Anyway, if you happen to be in Denver, check it out. It's worth the trip.
Yeah, it would. Okay. All right, everybody. I still haven't picked who I want to do for next week, but I'll get on it.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
And any suggestions if you want as well, no problem. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Have a good week.
Have a great week. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye.